How's it going, guys? This is just a quick video today to talk about the tier 2 hunts in Avernus, the new hunts. These ones actually came out in the last milestone, but we didn't do any of them because they didn't drop the next pieces yet, so we only just got around to actually getting through them. I recorded some clips on the Xbox. I wasn't planning on making a video or streaming this or anything like that. I didn't really think it was necessary, but when we actually got into the fights, some of them seemed a little bit confusing. Some of the mechanics we had to take like a couple of tries to sort of figure them out. And then after we ran a few of them, I noticed that people talking about the mechanics and people are having problems with them, especially the Red Lady. A lot of people taking downs, not really understanding how the mechanics work and that sort of thing. So we got a bit of an idea of them. So I figured I'd just put this together for this video together. I was just going to go through all of them at first, but the Red Lady is really the one that it seems like people are struggling with, not really getting how the slam attack works. So we'll get to that one, but for a start off, we'll just go through the other two. These ones are a lot easier than the Red Lady. This one here is Living Hellfire. I'll just skip forward to the next fight. There's a few mechanics here. Nothing really too difficult. It's a big fireball, just like in the ones that you run into in Tower of the Mad Mage. You'll notice first these cracks on the ground, the eruption, which is one of the Tom mechanics. Really, you just got to walk out of them. I did notice this one. If I had stamina, I could block while I was in it and it wouldn't bounce me. I don't remember if it always bounced you in Tom, if it broke your block. Maybe it just did more damage. So that's why I'd never really notice it. But I mean, really, just walk out of it. It's not a big deal. It follows you around. It does like 5 or 6 cracks in the ground. You've got this. You've got Heat Wave, which is the raid-wide damage from Tom, which you'll see the fire around the side of the screen. It just does a DOT to everyone in the area, just a small DOT, which the healer can just out-heal, which isn't really a problem. The chain that you'll see that's attached to me at the minute is from that's from Tom as well. The chains that you have to break, and it's also from MSP, which this is basically the boss's at will. Which just changed the person with the highest threat, which at the minute is me on the tank. Sometimes it does change to the other people if I'm not concentrating, or if I'm AFK at the start of the fight or something like that. So it does just go to the person with the highest threat. And then you have the fire bursts, just the red AoEs. And this is just the artifact phase. Just throw out all our debuffs and everything. Obviously, everyone just moves out the fire burst. I just block it on the tank. He also has this growth mechanic, which I noticed was similar to the second boss from Master Spell Plague, which they grow in size. They also get damage resistance and damage, which you can see up there on the bar for the boss. I did hear that this boss could maybe run away. I don't know if that means when the stacks get too high of the growth or something like that. I'm not sure, but I mean, we never got to that point with any of them. But keep an eye on that. But that's about it for that guy. This dude, the Frozen Boy, he fights like the Shades from Zariel, or the second boss of IC. Just the way that he attacks. It's just it's just his basic at will. He's just swinging at you while you're fighting. Doesn't do a whole lot of damage. There you see Hypothermia, which you'll probably know from Tom or from MSVA. Was it in FBI as well? I don't think it was. I think it was MSVA. But obviously everyone just stacks up on that, or all the DPS do, while I'm still tanking the boss. At some point he does a slam attack. Icebreaker, it came up there. That's the same as the attack in IC, or it's the same as the Shades in Zariel, where you'll see up in my debuff bar in the top left, the boss will do more damage to me now, because of that tank buster. It's not that much. It's not that big of a deal for like an endgame tank. The healer is perfectly fine out healing any of the damage they do. I do just use my stamina gain stuff, use my daily just to be sure, you know, like we didn't really prepare for these or look them up or anything before we went in. And then is that it? I think there's the blizzard, like the storm mechanic as well, which seems to add a slow to everyone, which really isn't a problem. You casted it there. The 3 chains, the healer is dodging out the way of it and not getting any stacks, so you might be able to dodge it. Really, it doesn't matter that much. It just gives you these sweet kicks, these ice fucking moon shoes, and slows you down. It doesn't matter anyway because you're just sitting here hitting the boss. I'll just let the rest of the fight run. Debuff phase again. This is fairly slow as well, just because 2 of the DPS that are in the group only just came back to the game recently, so they're not very well geared out or anything. But this should be fine with 5 people. You really shouldn't be struggling with like needing to get more than 5 to come and help out or anything. As long as everyone's doing their role, you know. Yeah, that one's pretty easy as well. So then this is the one that people are having some trouble with, which is it's only really one attack that people don't like. Some people don't really get how it works. It took us a couple of fights to figure it out as well. So I'll just let the fight run here. The first attack she does is the charm attack, where the eye appears above her head and everyone has to look away, which is, you know, the D1T and T9 and the final boss of MSP. I think the second boss does as well. Like, a lot of enemies do that in the game. You just have to look away. Your character has to look away from them. Other than that, this boss is very much like Strahd from Castle Ravenloft. Has a lot of similar attacks. This is the important thing. That red flash that just did, the circle that comes out, the red circle, this is the attack that people are having problems with. Right there. So you see it? That, the red circle. This is the on guard attack, which we took a little bit of time to figure out, but after she does this and she's blocking, she'll do a slam attack that does a lot of damage and throws people across the map. You just don't hit her. That's all you do. As soon as that red flash comes up, you just stop hitting her, and she just won't do the attack. Which, I mean, some people have been suggesting, like, oh, make sure you know your defense and your HP is really high. Use mitigation. You don't need to do any of that. Just don't hit her. Just stop hitting the boss. It's really easy. As long as you're looking out for it. Other than that, everything else, you'll see here, she just doesn't attack. The companions are hitting her, she doesn't do anything. It's just like a counter attack, you know? She continues to do the outwills. Everything else is really like this. That red AoE with the heart is like the succubus attacks. It adds this poison, this DOT that's up on my debuff bar. Not really a big deal. The outwills are not really anything to worry about either. She leaves these torches, you'll see up there at the top. Let's go back. At the top there's a torch next to 3 chains. The healer, and excuse that stick drift. The torches are just the same as the ones that are in Castle Ravenloft, apart from they follow someone. So technically, we just stayed in it because the healer just would prefer to just heal us all together. But you could all split away from the torches as they spawn, and then just the person with the torches can stay out while the other people go back in, and they can, you know, chain the torches outside of the fight. Really, it's not that big of a deal either. It does some big damage when a lot of them stack up, but, you know, it's not a huge deal. Same thing with the charm, just look away. That's the torches, the big red AoE is going off. As you can see, it's doing a bit of damage to, like, the more undergeared players, but it's not that big of a deal. And there's the attack again. Everyone stops. And then she continues at willing. So there's no slam if you do that. I got charm there because I was being greedy with damage. And that's really it. That's the whole fight. It's nowhere near as hard as some people are thinking it is. I tell you what, the first couple of tries we did caused us some trouble. Because we didn't realize what was going on at first. And actually, I'll just go over quickly how we figured it out. Because I have a couple of other clips here. You'll see, I mean, this is another reason why we're over in the corner, is because as you'll see in this clip, the enemies spawn from the area, and they're elite enemies, they get CA on all the DPS, and it's a pain in the ass, basically. So that's why we were fighting over in the corner. There's two groups that can spawn in, so that can get pretty annoying. So you can either kill them first, or you can drag it over to the corner. Eventually, we were just killing them and just fighting here once we got a bit more comfortable with it. But where we were standing before, in that back section, there's a crack in the wall, and I got thrown into it when we were fighting, and she did the slam attack, and I noticed that it did no damage to me when I was back there. So somebody came up with the idea to maybe hide behind something when she's doing the on guard attack. So you see here, this was the first strategy we were doing. This was like the second fight I think we did. She does it, and everyone runs behind the pillar to hide. And it only got one person that was standing out in the open still. And we basically just dragged her in circles around it so everyone could hide. But I noticed that when nobody was hitting her and they got behind it really quickly, she didn't do the counter attack at all. So I figured maybe it's just like a like a retaliate, like on the tanks. Like it's only if you hit her a counter attack that she does it, and we tested it out, and yeah, she just doesn't hit you. So I mean, it didn't take that long to figure out, but I mean, this is something that I guess is just a little bit of extra information here, something that goes along with like progression in trials and in new dungeons and that sort of thing. We usually just go in there, usually blind in the dungeons, or there's if there's not any information for the trials or anything, we just go in and see how it goes and sort of figure it out as we go. But I mean, that sort of gives you a little bit of insight onto how people figure out the mechanics in the dungeons and that sort of thing. It's just it's not as complicated as you think. This game really isn't that hard. Granted, we haven't done the T3s yet, so that might be a bit more of a hassle with some of like the lower geared players, but we'll see how it goes. But yeah, hopefully that was helpful for everybody that's struggling with the T2s and can get them to their T3 hunts to get their cool new armor. Alright, thanks for watching, guys.